Hello from Jerusalem. I'm going to show you where I'm at today. And trust me, I've been waiting for this moment all day. This is one of my favorite places in all of Israel and in all of Jerusalem. Hold on, let's look at the sign. You're getting a little bit of the view, but some of you might recognize this. But this is the Shalva. See Shalva here? This is the Shalva National Center, and it's probably the premier, no, it is the premier center for special needs in Jerusalem, in Israel, and possibly the entire Middle East, actually. It's amazing. So, on a daily basis, Shalva will have 1,000 kids coming through its doors. It's very, as you will see, ample doors. 1,000 kids coming here for all different programs from birth all the way through young adults. And they come here for therapies and for other programs. There's an after school program. And truth be told, right now, Daniel is here for his after school program. But it's an amazing place. And you notice how the doors are glass. And that was actually done on purpose to say that we're not trying to hide anything. Like, the people with special needs need to be seen by the world, and the world is actually invited to come in. So it's called reverse inclusion. These doors are not just about including people with special needs into the world, but also to get the world to come in. So there's a restaurant up here, very wonderful restaurant, cafe, love it. And so during the war, they aren't just taking care of their 1,000 kids a day, but they have also evacuees from all different places. They have several different programs. So they have one program for teenage girls who are at risk in one way or another. It's a place that they have down south, and they had to evacuate. They're like right on the border of Gaza. So they're actually living here right now. About 60 girls and also staff had to be relocated to here. They also opened up their meeting rooms up there to a community that was evacuated to here from the Nave community, and they're actually running school in Shalva for the girls from their community. There's also emergency, like if they have, if like in the event of a national emergency and more people have to be evacuated, they actually have 1,000 extra beds that they will put in the underground car parking lot. And then the other thing that they have is daily programs for kids that have been evacuated from different areas. So kids that have special needs and they're staying at some of the hotels here in the area. They get to come here from 9 to 1. Shalva just started up a program. They somehow gathered the kids from, they got in touch with the parents who have kids with special needs, and they come here on a daily basis, and they can have therapies and a hydrotherapy. They have a couple jamborees to play in. They have a sports center. And I mean, it's just amazing to really, all kids that go through trauma, traumatic circumstances are difficult for all kids, but kids with special needs have a different type of reaction, which is as well, they need routine and they need structure. And when suddenly they don't have that routine and they're not going to their same class, the class or school, whatever they go to every day, they regress. So Shalva understands that because this is a place for special needs, the cutting edge programs and a cutting edge mentality. So they understand it better than anybody. So they have invited people to come here. So now I mentioned the sports center. So I'm just going to turn around right here. see, not one place in Israel has gone untouched by the tragedies of October 7th. So this is Ophir Engel. He is kidnapped into Gaza, 17 years old, and his father is the director of the sports center here. We we know his father. He's running the programs that Daniel participates in, the judo, the basketball, all the other activities they have for the kids here. He was in charge of anything that went on in the sports center. We used to see him at all of the Hapoel Jerusalem games as well. And there are no home games these days, so but anyway, we're praying for Yoav and his wife. We're praying for Ophir to be returned. So there's a couple of really interesting things in the news. Today, it really was. It's all about the hostages today. But there's several bits of new information. It seems that there might be a deal in the works to release the hostages, or at least to release the children. And I think there's about 30 or 40 that are 18 and under, Israel, like children from Israel in Gaza, and they would be releasing them apparently in exchange, according to the reports, in exchange for Palestinian minors in Israeli jails. And so, some one of the reporters had said today on the news that was interviewing somebody, does this mean that, like, Palestinians that have um, been implicated in terror attacks? And they said yes. So anyway, so that would be so that deal was it's the one. Another reason they believe that a deal is closer is because the head of the Shabak, which is the Israeli Internal Security Service, so not the Mossad, and so not like the CIA, more like the FBI in the U.S. That he was in Egypt for a meeting, and um, and also the nation of Qatar is involved as well in brokering this. So if he went to Egypt for a meeting, it could be that a deal is close. Now, on the heels of that, it was also announced yesterday the death of a soldier, an Israeli soldier named Noah Marciano. And she was believed to she was kidnapped. In fact, what happened just yesterday, Hamas released a video of her, a proof of life video. And in the video, she said that she's been in captivity 4 days. So now this is from, over a month ago. Today's day 40 of the war. So she recorded that video, reading, saying her name, who her parents are, her ID number, where she lives. And she said it's day 4. So they released that video, but they also then released a picture in the video of her body. And Hamas blames Israel for her death, saying that she was killed in an Israeli airstrike. Now, Israel didn't. Israel confirmed her death, but didn't say how they confirmed it. And Israeli media is not playing this video or releasing this video. It's considered by a lot of people strictly Hamas propaganda to uh, worry worry Israelis, especially those who have hostages, but also play mind games with them and to get them to hope and then to despair and then to turn against Israel and say, don't bomb because you're going to kill our people. But there was also a debate about um, whether, nobody knows, and the army hasn't said, did Hamas kill her, or did she really die in a strike? And I'm not even gonna speculate, have no idea. I saw journalists arguing back and forth in a group about, in a private group, not in the media, but about how, no, that injury could not have been this, it must have been that. So anyway, so that's still out there. That will be a question mark for a while. um, so another person who was believed to have been kidnapped, her name is Vivian Silver, a 74-year-old woman who also had Canadian citizenship. She moved here from Canada originally, and she was big peace activist. They just identified her body more than a month later after the October 7th attacks. They identified her body. So she was found to be dead as well, and she founded a organization or movement called Women Wage Peace, and it was Israeli women and Palestinian women who would get together, and as mothers of, who want the best for their kids and don't want their kids to grow up in hatred, and to grow up with you know in a constant state of war. But to it was a movement that was to connect the mothers in order to raise the children to love the other and to respect the other. And she lived in, I think it was Kibbutz Be'eri, which is just like a kilometer or a mile from the Gaza border. And she was believed to have been kidnapped originally, and instead they just found that she was killed. There was another hostage who, according to foreign media, I haven't seen it in the Israeli media, who was kidnapped at 8 months pregnant and gave birth in Gaza. No news on her welfare or the babies. And the one thing I read in foreign media was that Israel is not releasing her name at request of the family, for the sake of her privacy. So I don't know. I can't confirm that. I don't know for sure, but I've now seen this in several different places. And and then I just want to talk a little bit about there's a lot going on with hospitals in Gaza. Now, of course, this has been a big topic since Israel bombed or didn't bomb the Baptist hospital, the Al-Ahli hospital. It's no longer Baptist. I think it's Anglican now. And there was a debate at first. First it was assumed it was hit in an Israeli airstrike. And by the way, it wasn't just the hospital. It was like outside the hospital. So it wasn't the hospital came down, but it was the hospital property was hit and people were killed. Israel didn't respond right away, but Hamas said it was an Israeli airstrike, and the initial reports were that 500 people were killed. So it turns out that Israel, after that, said we just did our investigation, and it could not have been us. It wasn't us. It was an errant rocket fired, and not by Hamas, but another terrorist group, the Islamic Jihad. And so then a lot of the international media actually backtracked, and even some even had to issue corrections saying, oh, okay, according to our own independent study as well, it turns out to be a Palestinian rocket, not an Israeli airstrike. But I've spoken to people who listen to the Arab media, and they still say no, it was proven to be Israel, and in fact they say it was an American rocket that landed there and did the damage. So there's still, and I'm talking about some people that live right here, and it just depends what media you're listening to, what you're believing. It's just unbelievable. So according to Israeli media and the Israeli army, speaking of that, the Israeli army has put out a lot of videos lately. And there was a video yesterday, which if you haven't seen, it's all over social media. The Israeli Defense Force spokesman Daniel Hagari actually was in Gaza yesterday and entered Rantisi Hospital, and he shows like going like under the hospital, and into the tunnels. Like he shows like the basement where he said that this was where they must have held a hostage, and he shows like the rope that was under the chair. He showed there were diapers, there was a baby bottle, there was they put a curtain where he said this is probably where they filmed proof of life videos. But and now there's no sign of the hostages there. It was just that this is probably where they were. So anyway, so I would say like look for that on on social media, because you can see the video for yourself and watch him go in, and he describes the structure and how the tunnel leads there, how there's oxygen in the tunnel, there's lighting in the tunnel, and everything. So there's even the U.S. Government is starting, to say, like, to back up Israel's position that Hamas is using hospitals, as a human shield, as a big shield, with multiple human shields inside. Uh, Today, it seems all day the Israeli military was battling Shifa Hospital, which is another hospital in Gaza City, and that they're saying that Hamas is in there and they're using all of their facilities, and so they warned. They sent a warning. They said they sent a warning for everybody to get out of the hospital who, if they're just a patient there or a worker, to get out of the hospital, because there's going to be an all-out battle there at Shifa Hospital. So I'm gonna have to go check out how that's going right now. What did I just do to the camera? Anyway, oh, I want to see comments. That's what I was trying to do. I'm looking. Show comments. Come on. I'm trying to check this out, but it's very temperamental right now. So I'm sorry if you had questions and I didn't see them. Emily, yes, an American rocket fired from Israel. That's what they said, like an American bought made rocket. Yes, that's what people are saying. So, does the sports director have any news or updates on on their son? No, but I mean, not that I know of specifically, but I would think that he will be included in the hostage release, if there's a hostage release of children, that he's under 18, so hopefully he will be released, and hopefully at least their nightmare will come to an end. Today is Wednesday, right? So on Friday is Emily Hand's birthday, and she's going to be turning 9. And I talked about my interview with her father, Tom, and it's just devastating. And what that family particularly has gone through as well, like thinking she was dead and then finding out, no, possibly she's alive and in captivity. So now everybody also is asking, like, why do the number of hostages keep changing? Which, by the way, I'm not sure what the exact number is today. I think it's 239 today, because I think it was 240 yesterday, and now Noah Marciano. Oh, and also Vivian Silver, 2 people that were hostages. Like, the number has gone down, because Vivian's body was found, and because Noah Marciano, the soldier, I think she was 19, because she has been ruled killed by the Israeli military. So, last but not least, I'm going to wrap up on one thing. So, inside the Shalva Center, I'm going to take my things, lest anybody thinks it's suspicious. Oh, by the way, there's not great service in there, so I hope nothing happens. And it'll be loud, because it always is. But I thought this was very interesting. I remembered, Shalva has always had like some kind of history with tragedy, but they always overcome it very well. Atala. Sean Waxman. All right, I think I was off for a second. Hopefully I'm back on. Okay, so anyway, I was talking about Nachshon Waxman. So I think he was at 19 years old. In 1994, Nachshon Waxman, who has a brother with Down syndrome and used to take care of his brother all the time, and, just like came from a really great family. I met his mother, Esther, a couple years ago. in connection to Shalva. Well, he was kidnapped by Hamas in 1994. And when Israel went in to rescue him, he was killed. And his mother, really, obviously was devastated. But she spent the rest of her life, she's still alive. She spent her life giving back after Ab was killed. And one of the reasons, like Shalva, she's connected to Shalva, is because when the news came that Nachshon was kidnapped, Kalman Samuels, who's the founder of Shalva, actually went to their house, and he just quietly packed up a bag for the with Down syndrome, and he took him to their house, and they took care of him, and they just let the family deal with what they had to deal with, like during the rescue, the rescue operation, and eventually his death. And so I just see how we've come full circle here at Shalva with Hamas and tragedy, and now another son who's dead. So anyway, they really stepped up here and filled it. They're just doing amazing things during the war. This has really become like an address for people in crisis, and it always was in some ways, but now it's for emergencies as well. So anyway, that is my report for today. I'm looking to see if you have any questions. And what is this? Why can't I see this, Heinemann? Can you speak about the baby incubators? So apparently Israel was going to be delivering baby incubators, 37 incubators. This is the conversation I heard. 37 incubators and 4 oxygen kits for children to one of the hospitals. This was the Israeli military put out a recording of a conversation between somebody in the army and the manager of one of the hospitals. And he said, "What do you need? We'll get it to you." They also delivered fuel in order to keep things running. So that's what's happening as far as the IDF trying to keep the hospitals functioning. So I don't know about them moving. What I do know is that there's been another call for residents of Gaza to move further south. So they're probably going to run out of room if they keep telling residents to move south. They were already told to move south, and now it's like, now move further south. And actually, just before I started this live, I saw a quote, a news piece where Netanyahu had said, there will be no inch that we haven't taken over. So he's like, we're well in control right now in Gaza City, and we'll be taking over more. So residents need to move. So anyway, so that's the news for now. And again, I wish I had done something in happier times of this place, but I'm sure we will yet again. But in the meantime, that's the news for today, day 40 of the Israel-Hamas war. Ciao.